All right, guys. So I've been watching all this stuff about Canada, you know, and the truckers and how they're not allowing people to take them gas. The truckers you can't take the truckers gas, and they're arresting people for having gas cans and taking the truckers gas. They're arresting people for honking in support of the truckers. Now you got American truckers saying that they're going to do a convoy, I think from California to Washington, or maybe they already started, I don't know. You got, and all of this is over mandates, all of mask mandates, vaccine mandates, all it's got to do with COVID. You got people in New York, for example, where they're arresting people for being in restaurants without vaccine passports or papers or whatever. At some point, you know, everybody has said for the last couple of years that, you know, what they're trying to do is start some type of race war stuff. But what really worries me is that this whole thing with COVID and these mandates and rules and laws is what's going to start some type of war here. You know, right now we're on the verge of potentially going to war with Russia because they want to invade Ukraine. And nobody's paying attention, or at least most people are not paying attention to what's happening in our own country. You can't go eat without a piece of paper. You can't go eat without a mask. You can't go to the grocery store. You can't, and that's only in certain spots, you know, in certain places. That's not where I live. But at some point, the government, Canadian government, the American government, I mean, so many countries all over the world have already dropped all of their mandates and restrictions for COVID. You know, you got Australia that has COVID camps where they put people that are sick with COVID, or even just test positive with COVID, to quarantine. But at some point, they got to realize, the government's got to realize, and this goes for Canada too, after everything that's happening and all these people that are finally standing up and saying, we're done with this, we're not having it. At some point, they got to realize they're going to have a problem on their hands. And Joe Biden made the comment, you know, however long ago, that in order to beat the United States military, you know, we got to have F-15s and tanks, or whatever it was he said. How many of our military men and women do you think are going to stand by and attack their own citizens that they swore an oath and to protect? Do you really think that they're going to attack us? There'll be some, you know, there will be some that's like, you know, I'm going to do my job, but at some point, they got to start realizing that they're fixing to start causing problems for themselves, and they're going. And really, what it seems like to me is they're really trying to cause problems in our country, and not in our country, but like, you know, amongst us and our citizens. And you know, they want the controversy. They want us fighting with each other, and you know, you got crazy people standing out in the street screaming at people that don't have a mask on. You got people assaulting people for not wearing a mask. But you don't have the people that don't wear a mask or that are against all this. They're not out here assaulting and attacking people for wearing a mask. Do we sort of make fun of them sometimes? Yeah, maybe a little bit. But most of the time, that's to ourselves. That's not even really to them. So they really don't even. It's just insane that the government, whether it be America or Canadian government, Justin Trudeau, whatever, however you say his name, he's an idiot. He's just a flat-out idiot. And it's crazy to me that these people that we put in charge of our country and to run our country, that they forget that they work for us. But they think that you're going to abide by everything they say, and that you're just not going to take your family to dinner because, you know, you're not vaccinated. I'm still not vaccinated. I have no intention of getting vaccinated. My kids are not vaccinated. My wife is not vaccinated. And I have no intention of getting them vaccinated. I've said 100 times, I'm not against vaccines in general. I'm not an anti-vaxxer. I'm anti-COVID vax. And I think it's terrible that, you know, some of our men and women that are in our military are either going to have to lose their job or lose their military status anyway over this vaccine, or, you know, get kicked out or take the vaccine against their will simply because they take pride in what they're doing. You know, they take pride in being in the Army or being in the Marines, and they're going to have to take that, whether they believe in it or not, in order to do a job that, you know, they might have dreamed of doing since they were a little kid. And it's, you got all these truckers that have now banded together, and you got people getting arrested for taking them gas. Well, I mean diesel, but you got people getting arrested because they don't have a piece of paper saying they got a shot in a restaurant. I mean, little kids, old men, you got, I mean, I saw a video yesterday in Canada where now, of course, videos don't start until something starts happening. So, you know, you don't always get the whole thing. So don't take it as I say I'm knowing everything that happened in the situation. But there was an old man in Canada went by, blew his horn in support of the truckers, and the cops stopped him and they arrested him. And they put their hands on him pretty aggressively. I mean, and he was in his 70s or something, I believe. I really hope, and our government officials here say that they want to enforce those type things, and I really hope they don't, because it's going to cause a huge problem in certain areas. You got some cities where everybody is, oh, the government's, you know, the last line and whatever they say goes, and that's what we got to do. But then you got people like where I live that are law-abiding citizens. We don't bother nobody. We don't do nothing. You got a few shitheads running around town here that cause problems, but 95% of the people in my county are good people. But you're also not going to make us do anything. You're not going to tell us that we have to have the shot. There's a huge percent of the population here that is vaccinated. But I think if it comes to vaccine papers and passports and that we have to wear a mask, I really think you're going to start causing problems. And what I really think, when they couldn't break America with Black Lives Matter, and they couldn't break America and cause a war here over race, I feel like COVID is their push to break us and to cause the division. I really feel like the vaccine is the big thing, because they know there's a lot of people that are against it. There's a lot of people that are okay with it. There's a lot of people that don't really care either way. And there's a lot of people that are like, you know, I'd rather have the vaccine or to just die in general. I mean, for mayors and governors and federal government officials to say, you have to have this shot or you can't go out to eat, you can't go to the grocery store, you can't buy this or that, you can't go to this place or that place, you're never gonna accomplish whatever the mission is there. It's never gonna happen like that. Like I said, you got some people that will abide by that, but eventually there will be an uprising against it if it turns into what Australia has turned into, or what they're trying to do in Canada or New York. I mean, it's already here. What I'm talking about is already here in America, but it's just not going. I don't think it's going to work out that way all over the country. Anyway, just a little thing I was thinking about, because I saw a video of Justin Trudeau, or however you say his name, you know, that clown, talking about the vaccines and the mandates, and I just watched it a few minutes ago, and I just, you know, I just had COVID. My whole family, everybody in my house had COVID. We all got pretty sick from it. I've had it twice now. The first time I didn't get sick at all. Second time in December or whenever it was, 1st of January, something like that, I did get pretty sick from it. But more so just body aches. I mean, my back hurt so bad. But other than that, And I know some people have a lot more problems, so I'm not taking away from the people that get really sick from it or that have had loved ones that have passed away because of it. But when you got people that have admitted, Dr. Fauci included, that they lie about the COVID numbers, that if you go in there and you had a car wreck and you died from an injury, but you also had COVID at the same time, they mark it as a COVID death. It's been admitted by people from the CDC. It's been admitted. Fauci has himself actually admitted it. I've seen the video, and that right there tells you something. Why do they need to do that? Why do they need to blow those numbers up, inflate those numbers, just to try to make people take this vaccine? Anyway, like I said, I know it's kind of random, and I don't like to talk about COVID much because it's just so back and forth, and there's so many ups and downs and lies, and some things that are true, but they're hard to believe, but then some things that are just flat out lies. It's just kind of random. But anyway, I really appreciate you guys, and please be sure to share the video, leave a like, leave a comment, let me know if you disagree or agree or how you feel about the vaccine and the whole deal. But anyway, I appreciate you guys, and I'll holler at you guys later.